Have you ever experienced an abbiocco after a spaghettata with friends? Now, if you're not sure what these words mean, don't worry, it's totally normal. Learning these words isn't just about expanding your vocabulary, it's about understanding concepts that don't quite exist in our language, i.e. English. In this lesson, we'll explore 15 of these untranslatable Italian words that are so commonly used in everyday conversation that they'll bring you one step closer to thinking and feeling just like Italians do. And don't worry about taking notes, I've done all the hard work for you. To help you to practice these new words, make sure you download your free PDF cheat sheet for this lesson. It includes all the vocabulary and examples that you're about to see here today. Just click on the link in the description box below this video. Pronti? Are you ready? Iniziamo. Let's get started. Ciao, my name is Michelle. That's Michelle with one L because I was born in Australia and my Italian dad named me after my nonno Michele. But I didn't speak a word of Italian growing up. I learned it as an adult, and now I help thousands of students just like you do the same using my unique 80-20 method. So if you want to learn Italian, connect with your heritage, or just have more authentic travel experiences in Italy, you're in the right place. Okay, let's jump into the first untranslatable Italian word. It is
abbiocco.
Now, you can't say that you've truly experienced Italy unless you've had an abbiocco. This informal word perfectly describes that drowsy, sluggish state that hits after a big, hearty meal. You know, when you're so full that the only thing you want to do is find the nearest couch and have a nap. In English, we might call it a food coma, but abbiocco has a charm on its own. It derives from
biocca,
meaning broody hen, painting the perfect picture of someone curled up ready for a snooze, just like a hen nesting on her eggs. Now you can either say
avere l'abbiocco
or use the reflexive verb
abbioccarsi
to get drowsy. Take a look at this example.
Devo aver mangiato troppo a pranzo. Ho avuto un abbiocco pazzesco oggi pomeriggio.
I must have eaten too much at lunch. I had a crazy food coma this afternoon.
Ti capisco. Io mi sono abbioccato davanti al computer mentre cercavo di lavorare.
I get you. I dozed off in front of the computer while I was trying to work. The next untranslatable Italian word is
accidente.
Accidente is a generic term for an illness, but it carries a deeper, somewhat ominous meaning in Italian. Now, while it can refer to something like the flu or a cold, it's often wrapped in that distinct Italian sense of worry and doom. Take the classic phrase every Italian mamma or nonna shouts at their kids of all ages, which is
Copriti, altrimenti ti prendi un accidente.
Cover up, or else you'll catch something. It's like an impending catastrophe is around the corner. Take a look at this example.
Chiudi quella finestra. Non voglio prendermi un accidente.
Close that window. I don't want you to catch an illness. Now, Italians also love to use the word accidente in expressions of frustration or exasperation, like
Gli venisse un accidente.
May an illness happen to him. And here, the illness is usually a
cacarella,
runs or diarrhea. The next untranslatable word is
ammazza caffè.
Now, no hearty Italian meal is truly complete without an ammazza caffè, a little glass of liqueur or
amaro,
a bitter after your espresso or coffee. Now, you might think of it as just an excuse for another round of drinks, but in reality, it's all about aiding digestion. The name itself is a mix of
ammazza,
meaning to kill, and
caffè,
coffee, because this post-meal liqueur kills the taste of coffee in your mouth. Take a look at this example.
Portando il conto, il nostro cameriere ci ha offerto un buonissimo ammazzacaffè alle erbe.
As the waiter brought the bill, he offered us a really good herbal ammazza caffè. Now, depending on where you are in Italy, you might hear different names for this tradition. In Veneto, for example, it's called
Resentin.
from the dialect verb resentare, meaning to rinse, because many drink their ammazza caffè straight from the espresso cup, thus rinsing the traces of coffee. The next untranslatable word is
Apericena.
Apericena is an Italian tradition that sits between an
Aperitivo.
aperitif and a full
Cena.
dinner. Think of it as an upgraded aperitivo, where the food is hearty enough to replace dinner entirely. For anything between 10 and 15 euros, you can get a drink and a generous spread of delicious bites like cured meats, mini pizzas, pasta salads, and sometimes even some regional specialties. These are usually served buffet style or directly to your table. Now, even though cena is a feminine word in Italian, apericena is generally treated as masculine, probably because the aperitivo part of the experience takes the spotlight. Take a look at this example.
Per il mio compleanno ho organizzato un'apericena con gli amici.
For my birthday, I've organized an apericena with friends. Are you enjoying this lesson? Don't let the learning stop here. Make sure you download your free PDF cheat sheet for this lesson, which you'll find a link to in the description below this video. The next untranslatable word we have is
Attaccabottoni.
An attaccabottoni is a person who starts long and tedious conversations that seem to go on forever, making you feel like time is slipping away while you desperately search for a way out. It's not just that they like to talk, they can be really annoying and persistent, literally trapping you with their words. Take a look at this example sentence.
Che attaccabottoni quel Matteo! Ogni volta che lo incontro vuole raccontarmi tutta la sua vita.
What a chatterbox that Matteo! Every time I meet him, he wants to tell me his whole life story. Now, the origin of this term, which combines
Attaccare.
to attach and
Bottone.
button, is thought to come from an old tailor's practice. While sewing on buttons, tailors would often engage in small talk, leaving their customers no choice but to listen while the task was finished. The next untranslatable Italian word we have is
Cervicale.
Now, anatomically speaking, cervicale is the Italian equivalent of cervical, referring to the cervical vertebrae. But in Italy, this word is more commonly used to describe one of the country's most dreaded ailments, especially for those over 30 who
Soffrire di cervicale.
literally to suffer from the cervical. This is a broad term that covers anything from neck pain to headaches to stiffness and general discomfort, and typically around your upper spine. The cause? Wet hair, a major mistake and no-no in Italy, and the feared colpo d'aria, a draft. Take a look at this example sentence.
Mi scoppia la testa.
My head is killing me.
Sarà sicuramente la cervicale. Ieri c'era molto vento e sei uscita senza sciarpa.
It's definitely a cervical pain. Yesterday it was very windy and you went out without a scarf. Now, to learn the top 48 things you should never do in Italy, make sure you watch my video guide right here. Now, the next word is
Ciofeca.
Now, this is a colloquial term Italians often use to describe something that's extremely unpleasant or disgusting. This word originates from an old drink once popular in southern Italy, made by roasting and grinding acorns. Far from being a delicacy, this term has become synonymous with low-quality coffee, and the word is still frequently used today when referring to a terrible drink. Take a look at this example sentence.
Questa nuova birra è una ciofeca. Sa di candeggina.
This new beer is disgusting. It tastes like bleach. And the next untranslatable term in Italian we have is
Colpo d'aria.
This literally means a hit of air, but don't be fooled by its simple translation. This is no ordinary draft. For Italians, it's the invisible enemy that can cause
Tutti I mali.
all kinds of health issues, from the common cold and cough to ear infections, stomach aches, and of course, the infamous cervicale. In other words, for Italians, a colpo d'aria is something to be avoided at all costs. So standing near an open window, or heaven forbid, under a ceiling fan, is a clear sign that you're tempting fate. Take a look at this example.
Copriti bene, altrimenti prendi un colpo d'aria.
Cover up well, otherwise you'll catch a draft. Another untranslatable Italian term we have is
Colpo della strega.
This literally means witch's blow, and it is another Italian expression that can't quite be captured by a single English word. It refers to a sudden, sharp back strain, typically caused by a quick or awkward movement. It's the kind of pain so intense that it knocks you out, leaving you unable to move, as if you've been cursed by some dark magic. Now, the origins of this term date back to the medieval times, when it was believed that witches had the power to freeze men in place. Take a look at this example sentence.
Mio papà è a letto da una settimana. Gli è venuto il colpo della strega e non riesce a muoversi.
My dad has been in bed for a week. He got a back strain and can't move. Are you enjoying this lesson? Don't let the learning stop here. Make sure you download your free PDF cheat sheet, which you'll find a link to in the description below this video. Now, the next untranslatable Italian term is
Menefreghista.
Now, this is widely used in informal speech to describe someone who seems to not care about anything at all, who is blasé or unconcerned. The latest drama, global issues, someone else's feelings, it's all the same to them. It's not about being laid back, it carries a more negative tone than simply not caring. Menefreghista refers to the mindset of a total disregard, implying selfishness and a complete lack of consideration for the people and events around them. The term comes from the Italian
Me ne frego.
which precisely means I couldn't care less. Take a look at this example sentence.
Quando siete diventati così menefreghisti? Pensate solo a voi stessi.
When did you all become so selfish? You only think about yourselves. The next untranslatable Italian word we have is
Meriggiare.
meriggiare is one of those words that feels more literary than something you'd use in everyday conversation. However, it's worth learning because it captures something so quintessentially Italian, that peaceful, almost meditative moment when everything slows down during the hottest part of the day. This word comes from the Latin
Meridiare.
which means to rest in the midday, and you can almost hear its echo in
Pomeriggio.
the Italian word for afternoon. Take a look at this example sentence.
Quel paesaggio tranquillo invitava a meriggiare e godersi il silenzio.
That peaceful landscape invites us to rest and enjoy the silence. The next untranslatable word in Italian we have is
Pantofolaio.
in English, pantofolaio is often translated as couch potato, but that doesn't quite capture its full meaning. A pantofolaio isn't just someone who spends their time watching TV, it's a person who fully embraces a quiet, home-centered lifestyle. Think of someone who loves routine and finds pure joy in staying in rather than going out, avoiding anything that might disturb their peace. Take a look at this example sentence.
Sei proprio un pantofolaio. Non esci mai. Dai, vieni con noi in pizzeria stasera.
You're such a couch potato. You never go out. Come on, come with us to the pizzeria tonight. The word comes from
Pantofola.
a soft house slipper, and that says it all. Just like a cozy pair of slippers, a pantofolaio enjoys warmth and relaxation. This idea ties in beautifully with the Italian concept of
Il dolce far niente.
the sweet art of doing nothing. Take a look at this next untranslatable Italian word. I love this word. It is
Spaghettata.
Now, among the Italian words that don't have a direct translation in English, spaghettate is one that truly reflects what food is meant in the local culture. At its core, it simply means sharing a plate of spaghetti with friends, but in reality, it's so much more than that. A spaghettata is typically a spontaneous and completely informal meal. It's not really about the spaghetti itself, It's about the joy of gathering together and appreciating the simple pleasure of good food and good company. And what if hunger strikes again late at night? Well, Italians have a perfect solution. It's called
Una spaghettata di mezzanotte.
a midnight feast of spaghetti or something else, and it's often whipped up before or after an evening out with friends. Take a look at this example sentence.
Dopo la festa sono venuti tutti da me per una spaghettata.
After the party, everyone came to my place for a casual dinner. The next untranslatable Italian word we have is
Tavola.
Now in Italian, the standard word for table is
Tavolo.
but the feminine form tavola carries a deeper meaning, especially when it comes to food. More than just a piece of furniture, tavola refers to a table that's been set and ready for a meal, a place where people come together to eat and share moments. You'll often hear Italians call out,
A tavola.
it literally means to the table, but it's more than just an announcement that a meal is about to be served. It's an invitation to pause what everyone is doing, gather and enjoy not just the food, but also the company and conversation that make meal times in Italy so special. Take a look at this example.
Bambini, è ora di mangiare. A tavola.
Kids, it's time to eat. Come to the table. And then we have this brilliant untranslatable Italian term, which we should also use in English, I think. It is
Umarel.
Now this is a recent addition to the Italian dictionary, officially recognized only in 2021, but the character it describes has existed for generations. And Umarel is an elderly gentleman who spends his time observing construction sites, often standing with his hands clasped behind his back and distributing free and unsolicited advice to the workers. This scene is so common across Italy that Umarels have become a recognizable feature in the urban landscape. And although this term is now part of standard Italian, it originally came from the local dialect of Bologna, and it means little man
Omarello.
or
Ometto.
the city even has a place dedicated to these special observers in Piazzetta degli Umarels. Take a look at this example sentence.
Mio nonno è proprio un Umarel, sempre in giro con gli amici a curiosare tra i cantieri.
My grandfather is a real Umarel, always around with his friends looking into construction sites. If you're planning a trip to Bologna, the home of the Umarels, make sure you watch my travel guide right here. Now, to continue your learning and to help you practice these untranslatable Italian terms and phrases, make sure you download your free PDF cheat sheet for this lesson, which you'll find a link to in the description below this video. If you enjoyed this lesson, then you'll love Intrepid Italian, my series of online self-paced video courses that break down everything you need to know about Italian using my unique 80-20 method. More details in the description below. And if you enjoyed this lesson, make sure you take my free Italian level test here. And if you want to test your knowledge of hard Italian words, if you can understand the 15 words in this video, your Italian is amazing. In the meantime, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and turn on those notifications so you get an alert when I post more video lessons like this one. Until next time, un abbraccio. Ciao!